This Sichuan favorite is spicy and bold in flavor. It's easier to make than you think. You'll love it. Hey everyone, I'm Flo, Duties Behind the Camera, and we're all about simple food, simple faith. I grew up eating wonton in soup with noodles or without noodles, but the very first time I had wontons in a spicy sauce was about 30 years ago in a Shanghainese restaurant. They served this up alongside other Shanghainese dim sum, and it was delicious. You can find my original wonton recipe in my cookbook, Chinese Home Style, but I'm just making a few tweaks to the recipe to make this one. First, I'm not making as much as the recipe in the cookbook. I'm kind of halving it. So I have ½ a pound of ground pork and ½ a pound of shrimp. Next, I'm just going to chop up some of the ingredients. I have 2 very large green onions here. If you have smaller ones, maybe use 3. I'm cutting off the bottoms to plant because they will regrow green onions in the garden. I'm just going to chop up the white part here to add to my wonton mixture. Because they're so big, I'm just going to chop it up some more. I want it to be minced so that it will cook faster when we're cooking the wonton. I don't know why my onions are so big, but I'm just going to use like half of this. So maybe about a tablespoon is going to go into the meat mixture. Well, the rest of this is going to go into the sauce, so I'm just going to cut up the rest of it. I'm going to add my onions to the bowl where I'm making the sauce. I'm using a thumbs up size piece of ginger. Just a little piece of ginger gives you about 2 teaspoons of grated ginger. I'm going to grate that right into my filling. I also have about 8 sprigs of cilantro. I know not everyone likes cilantro, but if you do, you'll love it in this sauce. And if you don't, just omit it. I'm just going to chop this up since I have my chopping board out to chop up the cilantro to add to the sauce. I am adding the sauces and the flavors now to the pork and the shrimp, starting with 2 teaspoons of soy sauce, 1 teaspoon of white sugar. The white sugar is just there to balance out the flavors. 1 teaspoon of kosher salt, 1/4 teaspoon of ground white pepper, 2 teaspoons of cornstarch, and 1 teaspoon of sesame oil. Okay, we're just going to stir this in. If you want to chop down the shrimp, you can do that, but I like to have a little piece of shrimp with every bite. If I want a piece of shrimp in every wonton, I'm going to have to do better than just leaving them whole. I should have chopped it up. I don't know what I was thinking. All right, so I'm just going to cut them in half as I see them. See, there's always a way when you make a mistake. All right, that's better. Then there's a higher chance that everyone's going to get a piece of shrimp. But you know what? You don't have to use half and half. You can use all pork or all shrimp. It's totally up to you. Because I'm not eating the wonton in soup, I'm going to add ½ a cup of chicken broth, and that will add to the juiciness of the filling. So mix it in until it's all absorbed, until you get this kind of creamy texture. So I'm going to let this marinate a little bit while I prepare the sauce. I'm just going to make the sauce in the measuring cup so that I don't wilt the cilantro and green onion in the bowl. And you know I can't be bothered with measuring, but I'm gonna. So I want 6 tablespoons of soy sauce. See, I knew there wasn't quite enough in this bottle. It's okay, I have a new bottle. 3 tablespoons of rice vinegar. Have 1 tablespoon of white sugar. That's to balance out the flavors. And I'm going to add, we have this San chili, oil chili sauce. Not sure what to call it, but It's the sauce that almost killed Dude in our dan dan noodle recipe. So I'm just gonna start with a tablespoon, which sounds like a lot, doesn't it, Dude? Okay, a tablespoon. About a tablespoon and a half of sesame oil and about a tablespoon and a half of roasted sesame seeds. Oh, one last thing. I have a very tiny piece of garlic. I'm just going to grate that into the sauce as well. And it'll just give it an extra zing. You don't have to add the garlic if you don't want to. And with the chili oil, you can use whatever your favorite chili oil is. Okay, setting that aside. When you buy wonton wrappers, they usually come in like dual package. Sometimes they're packaged all together in one. I like to buy them when they're separated so that I don't have to use all of it. So I'm just gonna use 1 pack today for this recipe, and you'll make about 4 dozen wontons with it. I'm also using like the Cantonese style wonton wrappers as opposed to the thicker Northern Chinese, Sichuan province, Shanghainese type wrappers. I just like them better, but you can use either, it's fine. These wrappers are also made with egg, and I think that's why they're a little bit more slippery, so it's like slurp worthy. Okay, take the wonton wrapper. We're gonna put about a teaspoon of filling, kind of right in the middle. Adding my little piece of shrimp. I'm gonna fold it kind of about here and kind of squish to make sure that the sauces from the meat is holding that wonton wrapper in place. Take a little bit of water and we're gonna kind of twist this and fold it here. And the water will hold it all together. Okay, we're gonna bring a pot of water to boil. And you want a pot big enough for all of them to kind of float to the top without overcrowding. So we're gonna make about 12 at once and put them all in at the same time. Okay, now that the water is boiled, I'm gonna drop my wontons in. I'm gonna do 12 at a time. Once the wontons are floating at the top, you can move them around a little bit to make sure they're not sticking to the bottom. And then we're gonna cook them for another 1 to 2 minutes. Remember, you're just cooking a small teaspoon of meat at a time. Okay, I'm turning off my stove. And get these into a bowl. See how delicate the wrappers are? That's what I like about these wrappers. Okay, we're gonna finish off the sauce. I'm gonna pour the sauce into the cilantro and green onions. You see how red this is?
Looks dangerous.
All right. Now, I don't know, big chunks of what? Maybe just herbs. I was gonna say, spoon it generously onto the wonton. That's not generous, huh? All right. Are you all ready for?
I guess so. Smells amazing, and a bit of a concern for the spiciness. Look at the colors though. It's pretty incredible with the redness of the chili and contrasting with the greens. Oh yeah. Always look forward to getting this in the restaurant because it's kind of like, along with the other dishes, it just adds a pop of flavor. So being able to make it at home and save a ton of money for the win. Dude, so good. The flavor from within. And I did get a piece of shrimp, thank you very much. And nestled in with the pork. Yeah, the wrapper, I much prefer the Kanto wrappers. They're more delicate and the mouthfeel is incredible. So you have all the different textures in your mouth and the freshness of the greens, and the chili isn't that spicy. I'm not dying yet. Guys, you gotta make this.
All right, thanks, dude. You can always adjust the spiciness to your liking. If you want it more spicy, add more. If you don't want it as spicy, add less. Or if you already made it and you're not sure, you can always add some of the dumpling water into your sauce just to dilute it a little bit to make it less spicy. Again, my original wonton recipe can be found in a Chinese home style. Check it out.